There are moments in life that arrive without warning. Quiet, ordinary moments that suddenly split your world wide open. For Emily Hart, that moment came on an early autumn afternoon when she walked into the small-town cafe she'd visited almost every day for years, expecting nothing more than a quick coffee. But the second she stepped inside, her breath stalled, her hands froze, and the world narrowed to one impossible sight. Standing at the far end, holding a cup of black coffee, wearing the same quiet seriousness in his eyes she had memorized a decade ago, was Noah Carter. Her first love, her almost forever, the boy she planned a life with until life itself pulled them apart. 10 years. 10 years of silence, unanswered letters, broken dreams, and the kind of ache that time tries to soften but never fully erases. And yet here he was, as real as the floor beneath her feet, looking older, stronger, but unmistakably the boy she once loved more than anything. Her heartbeat thundered, her throat closed, and for a moment she wasn't a 28-year-old woman, working through bills and responsibilities. She was 18 again, standing on the edge of goodbye, watching him leave for a future she wasn't allowed to follow. If you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances in love, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It truly helps stories like this reach more hearts. Emily had spent 10 years building a life without Noah, though she never stopped wondering where he went, why he never came back, or why the boy who promised forever disappeared without a reason. She lived in Willow Creek, a quiet American town where everyone knew everyone, and where memories lingered longer than people expected. After high school, she worked her way into the local library, helping run programs for kids, shelving books, and pretending she was fine every time she walked by places they once carved their names into, or streets where they shared their dreams. The town never changed much, but she had, slowly, reluctantly, painfully. She had grown into someone who learned to hold her own hand when life got heavy, someone who stopped checking her phone for messages that never came. Someone who learned that expectations can be dangerous when they're tied to a person who's no longer there. Yet seeing Noah again cracked something deep inside her. He looked older, tired in a way life makes you after years of carrying burdens you never speak about. His dark hair was shorter, cleaner, and his jawline stronger than she remembered, sharper even, as though life carved him differently. His hands were the same though, steady, gentle, the kind that once held her fears like fragile things he promised not to break. But something in his eyes was new, something heavy, something apologetic. Emily didn't approach him, she couldn't. Instead, she stepped back outside, leaning against the brick wall of the cafe, trying to breathe. Memories flooded her like a storm. Summer nights on the hilltop, painting dreams on the sky, promises whispered in the dark. Warm and sincere, the final hug before he left for the military, saying it was only for a little while. A little while became a year became 2 became 10, no explanations, no closure, no goodbye that made sense. She didn't hate him, she never could, but she had folded away the part of her heart that belonged to him, like an old letter hidden in a box you never open again. Now the lid was ripped off, and everything she tucked away came alive again. Over the next few days, Emily tried to pretend she hadn't seen him. She buried herself in work at the library, alphabetizing books she'd already organized, distracting kids with story times, reorganizing the crafts section twice in one morning. But Willow Creek was small with very few places to hide from the past. She saw his truck once parked by the mechanic's shop. She saw him walking on Main Street another day, hands in his pockets like he was trying to blend in. She felt him everywhere, like the past was breathing behind her shoulder. It wasn't grief that haunted her, it was fear. Fear of reopening wounds she had worked too hard to heal. Fear of hearing truths she wasn't sure she was strong enough to hold. Fear of wanting someone she had no right to want anymore. A week went by before fate pushed them back into the same space. On Saturday morning, while Emily was sorting book donations, she heard the slow creak of the library door. She glanced up, and there he was again, Noah, standing awkwardly, as though afraid to step forward, She felt her pulse spike. She felt the room tilt. She felt the weight of 10 years settle between them like a thick, unspoken fog. He didn't speak at first. He simply looked at her with a mixture of regret and relief, like someone who finally reached the shore after years of drowning. Emily braced herself emotionally, expecting anger, excuses, or carefully built walls. But as he stepped closer, she saw something deeper: pain, guilt, a brokenness that softened her even when she didn't want it to. Noah apologized, not with loud words or dramatic explanations, but with a quiet sincerity that felt painfully real. He told her what the last 10 years had taken from him: his peace, his sense of home, his ability to sleep without seeing things he wished he could forget. He told her he wrote her letters but never sent them because he felt he had no right to pull her into the darkness his life had become. He said he stayed away because he didn't want to give her a half version of himself, someone who couldn't love fully. He believed she deserved more, better. Hearing this didn't erase the hurt of the past, but it reshaped it. It wasn't abandonment, it was a quiet, misguided attempt to protect her. Emily didn't know whether to be relieved or angry. Her heart battled itself, a decade of pain pushing against the old love that still trembled inside her. Despite everything, she found herself caring. She always had. Their conversations grew slowly, hesitant at first, fragile like forgotten glass. They talked in the park where they used to sit after school. They walked near the lake where they once carved their initials into a tree. The years between them started to dissolve, replaced by shared laughter, tears, and moments of silence that felt strangely soothing. Emily learned that Noah wasn't back for a visit. He was back because he had nowhere else to go. Life had knocked him down enough times that he returned to the one place that once made him feel safe. She didn't know what to do with this. She didn't want to fall in love again with someone who could leave at any moment, but she also couldn't deny the connection that still lived between them, beating softly like a forgotten melody. As days passed, Emily realized Noah wasn't the same boy she loved in high school. He was quieter now, more observant, carrying invisible scars that would take time to heal. But she also saw the good still alive in him. The kindness, the steadiness, the gentle patience that always made her feel seen. She wanted to help him heal, but she feared losing herself in the process. Noah, on the other hand, walked carefully around her heart. He didn't push, he didn't assume, he simply showed up, helping at the library, joining town events, fixing small things around the community, rebuilding his place in the world piece by piece. Emily watched him try, and something in her softened a little more each day. But the moment that shook her came on a cold, quiet evening when they stood on the hill overlooking Willow Creek, the place they once claimed as their spot. The sun was sinking behind the trees, painting the sky in colors too beautiful to touch. Noah stood beside her, hands stuffed in his jacket pockets, eyes soft with vulnerability. He told her that coming back wasn't about returning to the past, but about facing the future he once ran from. And when he said he didn't expect her to take him back, he just wanted her to know that she was the reason he believed in goodness, even in the darkest places. Emily felt something break inside her, the wall she had built around her heart. But love after pain isn't simple. It isn't cinematic or convenient. It is terrifying. Emily found herself torn between the safety of moving on alone and the hope of rediscovering something that once meant everything. Eventually, she realized something important. Love wasn't about choosing the safest path. It was about choosing the honest one. So she chose to forgive, not because the past didn't hurt, but because she saw the man in front of her, trying with everything he had left. She chose to open her heart again, not fully, not blindly, but slowly, intentionally. She chose to let love breathe again. Willow Creek noticed the change. Two people once separated by time and silence now walked side by side, tentative, careful, hopeful. And though the journey ahead wasn't guaranteed, Emily felt peace for the first time in years. She wasn't rewriting the past, she was building something new. As winter approached, their bond deepened, not through grand gestures, but through small moments. quiet coffee mornings, long evening walks, helping her decorate for the holidays, leaving handwritten notes at the library desk just to make her smile. Noah wasn't trying to win her back. He was trying to become someone worthy of loving again. And Emily, with her gentle resilience, met him halfway. By Christmas, Willow Creek whispered that Noah and Emily were finding their way back to each other. By New Year's, Emily realized she wasn't scared anymore. And by the first spring morning, standing by the lake where their initials still faintly remained carved into the bark, she realized that sometimes life does give second chances, not to repeat the past, but to create a better future. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support means more than you know. Special requests: before you go, comment "Second chances matter" if you believe love deserves another try.